Hi everyone. Hope you all are doing well. So, today I just wanted to share an interesting fact with you. So, do you guys know that just like our body, our psyche also has an immune system of its own? It does, and it works towards protecting us from experiences which feel very powerful for our psyche to digest or which feel way too overwhelming for us to make sense of. And to do that, it uses n number of mechanisms. So there are defense mechanisms which we read by, but like to make it easier, let's just say that one mechanism that psyche uses to protect us is by going numb. When we go numb to protect ourselves from overwhelming experiences, life feels easier, even functional, for a little while when these powerful emotions are avoided. But do you know that over a time, this numbing doesn't stay limited to just one emotion? It can shut down other emotions as well. For example, when one is repeatedly told, don't cry, don't be sad, one also begins to numb down grief. But sadness is how we process loss, and loss only exists when there was once love. So, numbing sadness also creates distance from longing, tenderness, deep joy, connection. Or when one has always lived in an unsafe environment, continuous fear feels very overwhelming. So, the psyche says no more of that. But fear also arises when one takes risk, is excited, or is vulnerable. So, anything which stirs fear, such as passion, desire, dreams, sexuality, person loses access to that and makes one's life small. Our brain also shares neural pathways, and muting of one system leads to cutting down of other emotions which are connected to it. Where one's anger is punished or unwelcomed, it still lives in the body, but find other outlets to come out, such as chronic muscle tension, IBS, migraines, depression, or even passive aggression. One is not assertive and does not feel injustice and might even shun their sexual energy, which is linked with aggression and power. So, emotions cannot be eliminated or controlled. When repressed, they come through other channels, such as chronic pain, irritability, nightmares, feeling disconnected, or in our relational dynamics. Unfelt emotions don't just fade with time, they persist until they are seen, named, and integrated. Dissociation also works like our bodily immune system. Where pain is too overwhelming, psyche splits it off, seals it away, and carry on like it never happened. It is its way to protect the psyche and keep it functioning. When our when our psyche knows that our anger can make the situation worse, it tells us not to make it worse, to protect us. The psyche doesn't easily let go of what it has learned, especially if what it has learned once kept us safe. Our psyche gives us best shot at survival. If love meant danger, it numbs closeness. The psyche keeps using strategies designed for war even when peace is possible. It blocks anger not to suppress your spirit, but because it still thinks you are living with a tyrant. So when you hear a voice inside you say, don't be angry, they will leave. Don't show sadness, you will be weak. Psyche is still trying to protect us, even when the danger has passed. Any movement towards truth or feeling is attacked. However, it is not just our emotions which are interwoven, but our memory, feeling, meaning, image, body sensation, and identity are interwoven and create a sense of self. But when something is too overwhelming, our system cannot metabolize it. When we get panic attacks, but don't know why, and on exploration, it is revealed uh, that some tragic incident has happened. For example, there was a boy who would get panic attacks and but he won't know why. And on exploration it is revealed that he had lost his mother at a young age and was told that he is mature for not crying. Here the grief has been split off. Body has registered the moment of shock and the mind says nothing is wrong. I'm fine. So Jung called this diabolical force, meaning psyche that throws things apart, splits of memory from emotion, part of self from the whole. So, diabolical in die means apart, and bolical means to throw. So, when a voice tells us there will be consequences to it, maybe it is also trying to protect us from shame. Psyche is doing its job by letting note the anger surface. As it can worsen abuse, it learns that anger is dangerous. So when it arises again in another situation, it warns us to keep that feeling down. But then the question arises, is psyche's only job is to protect us? The psyche's primary concern, especially in early life or after trauma, is survival. Psyche doesn't wish to survive, it also wishes to create relations, create development, experience wholeness. However, trauma freezes psyche at the developmental layer. It shuts down joy because joy makes you open and vulnerable, which once made you unsafe. However, emotions cannot be eliminated or permanently controlled. They will arise because they are responses to what is happening inside or around us. If they are not felt consciously, they don't disappear. They just find another channels of expression. Unfelt emotions don't just fade with time, they persist until they are seen, named, and integrated. And therapy helps in reintegrating these experiences. It does not teach us to how to control emotions, but how to handle and walk through the overwhelm that was once produced. Emotional learning is deep and implicit. Emotions needs to be felt, witnessed, and repatterned in relationship, often slowly, which is why change is just not about willpower. It is also about rebuilding trust with your own psyche. Jung calls this symbolic work, which means throwing together or coming together of different parts, such as our memory, feelings associated with those memory, our identity, and living a life which symbolizes our value. He calls that symbolic work, which is often done in therapy. Thank you. Hope it was helpful to you.